Today we're going to be going over 7 fragrances people will smell even after you've left the room. These type of scents, at least from my experience, prioritize hang time. They prioritize sillage or sillage, how much the scent actually lasts in the air. There's just something heavy and dense and rich about each one of these to where it achieves exactly that. So we're going to go through each of these today, more cold weather themed since that's where we're sitting right now. We're going to start off with a niche fragrance, but luckily it's under $100, Mancera Eternal Wood. Now, just being clear, you could probably go with just about any Mancera. As crazy as that sounds, you can't really say that about every brand in terms of, you know, hyping the brand up and for that good a performance across the board. But Mancera is incredibly consistent and has been over the years. I don't know if I've really found a poor performing Mancera yet. So if this isn't really your cup of tea, you could go for an intense Cedrat Boisé, a Tonka Cola, red tobacco, whatever. I find that most of those are heavy and rich enough to where they do stick around in the air. Some more than others, but most of them will do that. And Eternal Wood is kind of on the stronger end of that scale. This one has toffee, tonka bean, amber, and some saffron in here, so warm spices, sweetness from the tonka bean, toffee, excuse me, and amber, and then, like I mentioned, a little bit of that warm spicy kick. Plenty of woods, you would kind of expect that, and you do for sure get that. A little bit of oud, a little bit of cedar wood, a little bit of sandalwood, just kind of a variety. Now the oud is not crazy, it's not. It's pretty subdued. It is that signature Mancera oud, which can be a little bit animalic, but there is plenty of balance going on to where it's not too crazy. This smells really, really nice to me. I like this type of thing. This is something that's different and that stands out in a good way. It's kind of walking that line of being kind of more niche leaning, which is obviously a niche brand, but it's not going too easygoing, too mainstream like maybe some people say that, you know, Cedrat Boisé is, right? So this kind of is walking that line, and that's why I like it. A very strong performer, as you would expect. That's why it's in this video. This is one of their newer releases. You hardly ever hear about it, but it's a really solid one if you want a beast mode fall and winter scent with a twist. This next one is Invictus Victory Elixir, one of the best Invictus flankers overall, I would say. You know, there are so many at this point that it's kind of hard to really rank them, but I would say, you know, Invictus Aqua, Invictus Parfum, Invictus Victory Elixir, my top 3. Not putting them in any order, although I know what my number 1 would be, but other than that, you know, it kind of can be a toss-up there. And that is, of course, what's in production. You know, there are a few over the years that have been discontinued, like Invictus Intense and Invictus Legend and a couple others, but even still, if those were around, I think my top 3 would still maintain about the same. This one has vanilla, incense, tonka bean, and cardamom, so again, you're getting a bit of a smokiness, a sweet vanillic undertone, and then kind of a spicy kick as well coming from that cardamom, which is also mixing with that incense. I've said this before, but man, this really brings a lot to the table, more than most Invictus flankers. Again, you know, so many have been released through the years, and this Victory lineup, to be fair, is a little bit different. They've kind of gone out of their way to make these a bit better, at least from my point of view. And Victory Elixir happens to be about my favorite from that particular line, but it just shines out above the rest of the entire Invictus lineup as well. Really nice release where if you don't like the original Invictus, you're in luck because this smells absolutely nothing like the original Invictus and most of the other flankers. It smells a lot like Invictus Victory, the regular version, right? Just much more intense, much more extreme, but completely separate from the rest of the lineup. So if the original is too bubblegummy sweet and just not your cup of tea, there's a high chance that you would like this if you like sweet base scents. This is still a modern smelling scent where it's leaning heavily into that sweet style, but it does it in such a way that it does stand out a little bit as well. Really good performer here. Leaves a nice trail, has great longevity also, and usually you can get this for $85 to $95 on discounters, which for a scent of this, you know, caliber, just this strong and this good, that's a great price. This next one is a clone, going for about $55 right now, but that price will come down over time as well. It's probably going to go down by, I don't know, $10 or $15 and then maybe over the course of several years it'll trickle down a bit more, but that's just kind of where these have been falling lately. It's Rasasi Hawas Kobra, one of the newest releases and one of my favorites out of the entire lineup already, because it is a very, very high quality interpretation of Louis Vuitton Imagination. It is actually insane how strong this is, which caught me off guard, how high quality it is, and really how accurate it is. Now, it does have a little bit of a twist, and honestly, I find it to be a little bit stronger and heavier than Imagination itself. I just find there to be a little bit more depth behind the scenes, kind of a little bit more of a woodiness compared to the original Imagination, which I find to be actually a little bit fresher. So that's kind of the key difference for me, but it is still very close, and you could obviously tell that it is heavily inspired by Imagination, which makes sense because that was a really hot scent over the past couple of years, which is crazy considering the price and extreme exclusivity of it, whereas you can only get it on the official website or the official store. No discounters. I mean, you know, Macy's, Saks Fifth Avenue, other retailers don't even carry Louis Vuitton fragrances. It's literally only their official website or their store in person, and that's it. It's really crazy. So the fact that we're starting to get some clones now, it just makes me happy inside. And honestly, there's just no reason to go out and spend that much on the Louis Vuitton when you can get this, which is so close at a fraction of the cost. I already mentioned it briefly, but the performance is so strong on this one. In my initial testing phase, I mean, it was like a couple of sprays and it would just go all day long. It would not wear off, which was really nice. And not only that, but it would leave a nice trail in the air. Has some pretty good projection distance as well. So this one, it brings a lot to the table here. This next one is Azzaro the Most Wanted Parfum. It's Azzaro the Most Wanted Eau de Parfum Intense, or just regular the Most Wanted. So used to saying Most Wanted Parfum, which could be in this video as well, but I wanted to change it up and go with this one. So they only give us 3 notes. It's toffee, cardamom, and amberwood of all notes, which is kind of interesting. Do you get a little bit of that? Sure. Definitely get a lot of toffee, a lot of that kind of cardamom spice, and then for sure a lot of tonka bean, which somehow they don't list off here. Does the amberwood give it a little bit of a freshness? Kind of, but it still is the furthest thing from a fresh scent. Still sweet, still kind of actually gourmand leaning from that toffee note. Very much the modern style scent, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about here. That stronger with you, toffee type of smell that is extended out into a lot of other scents. This is one of them that's kind of helping to carry that type of smell on. So is it familiar in that type of way? Definitely. You know, when you smell this, this is something where you feel as though you've smelled something similar to it before, right? That's just kind of how this hobby is these days. But putting that aside, this is yet another really good performer. Great longevity, decent projection, but really just hangs around in the air for a long period of time. This next one is a true classic. I mean, it's not old, but it smells like just a classic gentleman scent. It's Brioni Eau de Parfum Intense. Nice, sleek, black bottle. I mean, the presentation on these are top tier. You get a magnetic cap as well, nice atomizer, just really, really nice custom presentation. This one has apple, patchouli, orange, and a little bit of oud. Now, don't be alarmed. Again, the oud is not crazy at all. Balance is key when it comes to that note for people who don't like it standalone, of course, and there's plenty of that to go around here. This is not an oud scent. Even though it's listed, there's so much more going on. Sweet apple, nice orange, patchouli, kind of earthy woodiness, and then just some other woods alongside that bit of oud as well. Kind of sweet, but fruity at the same time. And again, it's odd because then that oud starts to come into play, and it's just kind of playing with a few different styles of scent. The new modern style scent with a little bit of that apple sweetness mixing with a little bit more of a classic gentleman's type of smell. So it's almost like a hybrid, so to speak, which honestly makes it really nice for a wide variety of people, a wide audience, both in terms of who is wearing it and also the people around you who you're appealing to. I think it will reach a lot of people. I mean, this stuff is strong. I can smell it through the cap. I don't even have to pull the cap off and I can smell it, which is pretty crazy. Usually is about $70 on discounters. That's 100 ml eau de parfum, of course, and such a great price for something that is just so unique and such a standout scent. This next one is Versace Eros Najim, kind of the exclusive edition here that looked like was going to be impossible to get, but it's luckily has not been the case. I mean, when it very first came out, it was, you know, nowhere to be found, of course, but it's been in stock on discounters ever since, which is nice. And usually right around $90 to $100, depending on if you get tester or full presentation. This one has caramel, orange, cardamom, and incense, along with a little bit of oud as well. Again, it sounds like we're all about oud, but again. But of course, there is more than meets the eye, so it's not, you know, full-fledged oud. There's so much more. There's nice sweet cardamom, nice smokiness from that incense, warm spice from the cardamom. It is kind of what you would expect out of a exclusive edition type of scent, to be fair. It's wildly different than the original Eros, so kind of like what I was talking about with the Invictus flankers. If you don't like the original Eros, there's a very high chance you would like this because it smells pretty much nothing like that original DNA. So, you know, it really takes a big step away to the point where, you know, it doesn't make full sense that it's an Eros flanker, although that just kind of happens sometimes. And when it's this good, I don't really care, because the thought process is you could have taken this and started a new lineup and then branched out from there and started a new, you know, set that you could start producing flankers on top of. But they just stuck with Eros. That's just kind of what they do, right? You've got built-in marketing already. Just put the name Eros on it in the same bottle, and it's going to sell. And again, to be fair, this is more of an exclusive edition. I don't know if it's available on retailers in the US. It might be now, but very expensive, I'm sure. But I think it's mostly kind of a Middle Eastern exclusive type of deal, or travel exclusive or something. I'm not 100% sure. I just know it's not really meant for the mainstream here in the States, and it makes sense based upon the smell. Because when you compare this to Eros Flame, Eros Energy is just a couple of them, and of course the regular Eros lineup, they're again nothing alike. Doesn't have that same type of mass-pleasing smell, but yet this still can be a compliment pulling scent. It's just not following our typical standards here. But it is a really strong performer, nice quality, and just something that's a nice change of pace. This next one is Layton Exclusif by Parfums de Marly. So this is niche smelling Layton. Like I've always said, you know, if the original Layton didn't do it for you, if it was a little bit too basic, I guess, or, you know, just not interesting enough, this is the solution. This one has Gaiac wood, almond, vanilla, coffee, and then some of the original Layton accords and smells also, but you kind of get the general idea right there. More woody, more spicy, more strong, heavier, darker, and richer. It's the simplest way to put it. And this is a really well done flanker where it still does have similarities to the original. Like when you smell this, you could very much tell that it's Layton. I mean, it has that same type of menthol type of smell even that Layton has. But really, it's just, it's heavier, it's stronger and richer in every single way, which is one of the reasons why I put it in this video. It is a lot stronger than Layton itself in terms of performance, and especially how much it hangs in the air. I mean, it leaves a very heavy and dense scent trail. And we're gonna finish this video with Kilian Old Fashioned. I had to throw it in. I think we're gonna make this my scent of the day. It's pretty cold out today, and this stuff, it just works so well in the frigid cold temperatures, and just it holds up incredibly well. This one has wheat, tolu balsam, and cedar wood is a few of the notes there. Boozy, rich, syrupy, gourmand smelling, and very much a boozy kick as well. Kilian, I mean, I think that they produce the best alcohol accord-based scents. You know, there's so many that you could choose from that are amazing. Apple brandy, single malt, straight to heaven, angel share, old fashioned, and I'm missing several as well thrown in the mix, and then some other gourmands that maybe use, you know, chocolate and caramel and all that. They just, when it comes to the sweet wintertime edible gourmand smelling scents with boozy scents thrown in as well, and even smoky stuff, this is one of the best brands out there, bar none. And this one here, again, is just one that I like to go for every now and then if I'm trying to change it up and I want to get out of my straight to heaven / you know, intoxicated apple brandy kick that I kind of rotate through a lot when it's cold outside. This is one that I'll go for as well. You know, it's maybe a little bit more mass pleasing than some of those others, kind of similar to how Angel Share is a little bit more of a mainstream take as well. I think that's kind of maybe the idea behind this lineup, because we see Apple Brandy on the rocks taking that embodiment and making it a little bit lighter as well. So maybe these are a little bit more approachable for a wider audience, and I think that's cool, and I really like it. Again, strong performer, heavy scent trail, great longevity as well. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fragrances that will stick around in the air even after you've left the room. I'm gonna drop links to all these down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.